All right, let's talk about some of the most incredible, most spectacular sculptures on our entire planet, canyons. I mean, these are just massive gashes in the earth carved right out of solid rock. And the wildest part? They're made by some of the simplest, most patient forces you can imagine. So let's dig in and unravel this amazing story.
So that's the big question, right? It just doesn't seem possible. How can something as soft as water, just flowing water, carve through miles and miles of solid stone? It's this fantastic puzzle. But the answer really just comes down to three things: water, gravity, and a whole lot of time. Let's piece it together.
Okay, so before a river can even begin to carve, the stone itself has to be prepped. This is where a process called weathering comes in. Think of it like the opening act, you know? It's the part of the show that softens up the landscape and gets it ready for the main event.
What's so cool is that nature has this whole toolkit to get the job done. First up, you've got this brute force method, where water seeps into tiny cracks, freezes, and then expands with incredible power, basically wedging the rock apart. Then you've got the slow and steady pressure from plant roots, just patiently prying open those crevices. And all the while, chemistry is doing its thing, with water slowly dissolving the very minerals holding the rock together. All of this just weakens the stone, making it vulnerable for what's coming next. So, with the rock all softened up, it's time for the master sculptor to step in: the river itself. This is the main event, the relentless, tireless force that's going to shape this landscape for millions of years to come.
The main process here has a really cool name. It's called downcutting. Now, this isn't just water gently flowing over some rocks. No, this is an active, grinding process. The river is literally sawing its way down into the Earth's crust. But that kind of brings up another question. How can water saw through anything?
And here it is. This is the big secret. The water itself isn't what's doing the really heavy lifting. The real power is in all the stuff the water carries with it. Seriously, think about it like liquid sandpaper. The river picks up sand, grit, pebbles, even small boulders, and that whole gritty mixture is what does the actual cutting. It's such a simple idea, but it's unbelievably powerful. So let's break down how this works. First, you've got gravity. That's the engine, constantly pulling the river downhill. As the water moves, it scoops up all that loose sediment, the sand and rocks we talked about. Those little particles become millions of tiny cutting tools, just scraping and scouring the riverbed, year after year, century after century, carving the channel deeper and deeper and deeper. All right, so now we get to the two secret ingredients. These are the invisible forces that make this whole epic process possible. Without them, a river is just a river, but with them, it becomes a canyon carver. We're talking about deep time and good old gravity. Get ready for this number: 6 million years. Just let that sink in for a second. That's roughly how long the Colorado River has been grinding away at the Grand Canyon. It's a timescale it's almost impossible for our brains to comprehend. The power here isn't about some massive violent event. It's about sheer, unrelenting persistence over an unimaginable amount of time. And this timeline really puts it all into perspective. The Colorado River started its work 6 million years ago. The first modern humans, we didn't show up until around 200,000 years ago. That means the river had already been carving for 5.8 million years before we even existed. Our entire recorded history, from building the pyramids to right now, is just a tiny little sliver at the very end of this timeline. And the craziest part, the river is still going, still carving the canyon deeper, bit by tiny bit, every single day. So you've really got two main forces at play here, and they each have totally different jobs. The river's erosion, that down cutting, is all about going in one direction, straight down. It makes the canyon deeper, but as it gets deeper, the walls get steeper and really unstable. And that's when gravity tags in. It starts pulling all that loose stuff from the sides, and that's what makes the canyon wider. I love this analogy of gravity as the cleanup crew. It's perfect. As the river carves down, gravity is always working on those steep walls, causing landslides and rock falls. This process, which scientists call mass movement, does two critical things at once. First, it widens the canyon, and second, it drops a fresh supply of abrasive material, more cutting tools, right back into the river below. It's this perfect, self-sustaining loop. So when you put all of this together, the weathering, the river carving down, gravity pulling the walls out, and you let it all run for millions of years, you don't just get a really big valley. You get something way more profound. The Grand Canyon is the perfect example. It's basically a history book of our planet, written in stone.
This quote just nails it. As the river sliced deeper and deeper, it exposed all these incredible, distinct layers of rock. And each layer tells a different story. This one here was an ancient seabed. This one was a massive desert. This one was the coastline of a forgotten ocean. The walls of the canyon are literally the pages of Earth's autobiography.
So why does this all matter so much to us? Well, because canyons give us this direct window into the deep past. Scientists can literally read those rock layers to understand what climates were like millions of years ago, to find fossils of long-extinct life, and to see firsthand the incredible forces that shape our world. They are so much more than just pretty scenery. They're priceless historical record. You know, if there's one big idea to take away from all this, I think it's this one. In our world that's all about speed and instant results, canyons are this incredible reminder that sometimes the most powerful forces are the ones that are slow, steady, and just absolutely persistent. The smallest actions, repeated over a huge amount of time, can create something truly breathtaking. So I want to leave you with this thought. The next time you're out and you see a river or a valley or even just a little crack in the sidewalk, take a closer look, because those same incredible forces, weathering, erosion, and time, they're at work everywhere, all the time. What stories are the landscapes telling right where you are? Thanks so much for digging into this with me.